Judge, in terms of the powers given to the various branches of government, is the U.S. Constitution a doctrine of plenary powers or enumerated powers?
Thank you, Senator, for your question.
You're welcome.
Congress is afforded enumerated powers in the Constitution, not plenary powers.
Counsel, we know that the 14th Amendment requires states to afford equal protection of the law to its citizens, but it only applies to the states. What provision of the federal Constitution requires the federal government to afford equal protection?
Well, the 14th Amendment, as well as the 5th Amendment, also guarantee due process to all citizens, the federal process and/or state, and as well under the I think the 14th Amendment also the federal government is bound by the 14th Amendment of the federal Constitution, so it also would bind the federal entities.
Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Today we've got something special. Senator John Kennedy is back at it in the Senate Judiciary Committee. He's putting 4 judicial nominees under the microscope. Let's get into it.
Counselor, what is the difference between the Privileges and Immunities Clause and the Privileges or Immunities Clause of the Constitution?
Thank you, Senator. The Privileges and Immunities Clause in the Constitution prevents states from discriminating against citizens of other states. And then the Privileges or Immunities Clause in the 14th Amendment prevents states from disparaging or discriminating against citizens in their federal rights.
Okay. Mr. DiZinno, did I say that your name right?
Yes, sir.
Please don't be offended, but I'm not about to mess with one of Senator Grassley's nominees, okay? Counselor, I've got to ask you this question. You just became a partner at Bowie Schiller?
Senator, I became a partner in 2020.
Right. And you're going to give up all that big money to join the federal bench? You worked for all that time?
Senator, I've been in private practice for 20 years now.
Yeah. You were at Skadden Arps?
I started my career at Skadden Arps in New
Spent a
York.
lifetime there in 1 week, didn't you?
I got
in terms of billable hours.
I sure did, Senator, and I also got a lot of great training.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed my time in private practice, but I believe in public service, and I'm honored to have the opportunity, if confirmed, to serve my country.
First up, Kennedy wastes no time. He looks the judge square in the eye and asks, is the U.S. Constitution a doctrine of plenary or enumerated powers? Boom, right out the gate. The judge answers, enumerated powers, straightforward. But Kennedy's not done. He swivels to another nominee and asks, the 14th Amendment applies to states, sure. But what about the federal government? Who holds it accountable for equal protection? The nominee struggles, citing the 5th Amendment. Right answer, shaky delivery. Next up, Kennedy throws down a verbal puzzle. What's the difference between the Privileges and Immunities Clause and the Privileges or Immunities Clause? Subtle? Maybe? Confusing? Absolutely. The Privileges and Immunities Clause prevents states from discriminating against citizens of other states. The Privileges or Immunities Clause from the 14th Amendment protects federal rights from state interference. Kennedy's nod tells you everything you need to know. This part's pure Kennedy charm. He turns to DiZinno. You're giving up that big money at Bowie Schiller to join the federal bench? DiZinno says he's been in private practice 20 years, started at Skadden Arps, and is ready for public service. Kennedy cracks a grin. You spent a lifetime there in 1 week, didn't you? In billable hours? Ouch. But it lands. Even DiZinno chuckles. You can feel the mutual respect under the banter. Kennedy asks, what are suspect classifications? Nominee answers, race, national origin. Kennedy presses, what makes something a suspect classification? The nominee mentions political vulnerability, minorities being disadvantaged. It's not textbook perfect, but on point. Kennedy nods, testing not just knowledge, but thinking.
What are the criteria for getting to be a suspect classification? I mean, we know that race and religion, as you said, and alienage and national origin are suspect classifications. But what are the criteria that classification has to meet in order to be a suspect classification? Is that clear, or am I being unclear?
The question is clear. We'll see how clear my answer is.
Okay.
I've been a private practitioner for 35 years, and I'd had cause to have to examine that. But as I understand, at least one of the aspects of what makes a class a suspect classification is the fact that it is a vulnerable population.
Vulnerable how so?
Politically so. For example, the classification of minorities as a suspect class was an example of one that was politically vulnerable. I know that was one of the factors. Senator, I'd have to research it to know, but that's what comes to mind.
We hit a turbulence moment. Kennedy asks, "What's the Dormant Commerce Clause?" The judge freezes. "I just can't recall." Kennedy doesn't twist the knife. "That's okay, I'm done." Classic Kennedy. Direct, dry, and done.
Judge, I'm going to land this plane in time. What's the Dormant Commerce Clause?
Senator, I appreciate your question, and as I sit here today after studying for the last 2 weeks, I just can't recall. I know it's in my note cards if you want me to go grab them.
Okay.
And I apologize.
That's okay, I'm done. Mr. DiZinno, please tell Grassley I didn't ask any questions, okay?
So what did we learn? Senator Kennedy brings a razor-sharp approach to vetting judicial nominees with a touch of Southern charm. These nominees got a real test. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe for more political highlights. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.